Hello and welcome to our June, yes, June, I can't even believe it here, start of summer, 2025 market update for San Luis Obispo County. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to all our viewers and especially thank you to Bobby Kelly, who is the CEO of Keller Williams Central Coast, our great boss, filled in, did a phenomenal job for me. In fact, we had a ton of requests for me to not show up anymore, but you've got me again. So let's talk about three things today. Of course, the market stats. Secondly, we're going to talk about more things in the market because we're seeing some changes. So we're going to talk about how days on the market and prices, our third topic, what is happening with those. So here we are, June, beginning of summer. We have about 40% more homes for sale than a year ago. Wow, that sounds like a lot. In a county of 250,000 people, that's 132 more homes for sale than 1 year ago. I went back a little bit further just for fun because we're kind of numbers geeks. And I looked back and I went to 2019 before COVID. So we ended up with about 471 homes for sale. In 2019, at this exact same time, 758. Okay, think about that. 471.9 versus 2019, very normal market, 758 homes for sale. So do we have very many homes? Yeah, more than last year, but boy, compared to the norm, super low. Sales down about 7%. Okay, that's what people worry about. That's about 12 houses less this year versus last year. But again, let's take a look because this is where people are concerned. That turns out to be also about 12 homes. And then pending sales were actually up. So next month could be very equivalent to what it was last year. So people ask me all the time, what's this mean? And they more importantly say, how's the market? Well, there are two markets. One, prices, okay, which people are most concerned about, I would say. Is my house worth more or less? Am I paying more or less? And number two would be, the number of homes for sale. So this is where days on the market and what's happening is kind of important. If we look at the number of homes selling, it is definitely below what it's been historically. So for example, this month, we closed 164 homes through May. In 2019, that was 305. Okay, that's a slump. That's a lot fewer homes. But if I look back completely, the percentage of homes and the supply we have, still only about 3 months supply. Okay, so in general, a few more homes for sale, a little bit longer to sell. So days on the market, I want you to listen to this very closely. Most of the areas in our community, if I go by city, average days on the market for those homes that is selling is still less than 35 days, mini towns. A few of our towns, let's say Avila Beach, Cayucas, days on the market for those is selling is higher, over 90 days. Why was the difference? Well, if you think about it, Avila Beach or a Cayucas, second home type property is also more expensive. So it's natural to think those days on the market would be higher. Okay, lastly, let's talk about prices and how that relates to days on the market. So we have on average every month about 25 to 30% of the homes are they're adjusting their prices. The prices are being reduced in most cases. Why is that? Well, as a good friend of mine, John Turner, once said, people sometimes start out with their price aspirationally. Okay, this is what we like to get. So, for example, it looks like the house is going to sell for $1.1 million. The owners want to list it for $1.2. Let's give it a shot. It's worth it. They try it. Then they need to adjust their price if they're going to get a buyer. So if you do overprice the house in this market, you will sit on the market. So pricing has become very important, okay? And that also is added to days on the market. But overall, on average, people say, are prices going up or down? The answer is yes. Some areas are a little higher, some areas are a little bit lower than last year. On average, prices in the county are about 3% higher than a year ago. It depends on the property. So here's some fun things, okay? We went back to 2011. Now remember what I said, number of homes for sale just this year, end of May, 471. Guess what it was in 2011, okay? 1,445. 1,445, huge increase. 237 homes sold at that same time. So that means there was 6 months worth of homes for sale at that rate of sales. If we look at it now, 471 homes for sale, 164 sold, that's less than 3 months supply, which is a balanced normal market. So what's happening in real estate market? It's leveling out, it's evening out, and it's being a little bit more competitive and giving buyers a chance. So I would call this very normal, although it's adjusted from the rah-rah days we had of 18, 24 months ago. So if you have any questions on how it affects you personally, please call us. We're always here to answer those questions. Our number is 805-781-3750. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll look forward to talking to you next month.